Keeping it local, I mean, it's what I'm trying to do in everything right now. Like when everything feels so big and impossible, the best thing you can do is just be paying attention to your communities and making sure that things are happening that are lifting people up.
That was Gaelan McKeown, director of the San Francisco Art Book Fair. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco, a podcast about artists, activists, and small businesses that make this city unique. In this bonus episode, meet Gaelan and Lisa Ellsworth, Director of Development and Strategy at the Minnesota Street Project Foundation, which is the presenting organization behind the 2025 San Francisco Art Book Fair. The fair starts tomorrow and runs through this Sunday, July 13th. It's spread out across 4 buildings between 23rd Street and 25th Street along Minnesota Street in the Dogpatch and is free to attend. For more info, please visit sfartbookfair.com. Here's my conversation with Gaelan and Lisa. Let's start with the story of how it came about originally. I'm guessing the idea for it, the kernel didn't start in 2016. I'm guessing there was like a little bit of lead up.
I can't speak to the origin story that belongs to somebody else, but I can say that in 2016, when Minnesota Street Project broke ground and opened the doors to the galleries at 1275 Minnesota Street, Luca Antonucci and Dave Kasperzak of the imprint Culpa Press, together with Jamie Alexander of Parklife, these 3 individuals were instrumental in bringing the book fair to San Francisco and starting it here.
Do you know, like, what was the idea? Because it's a little bit ambitious if you're starting from scratch, something like that, right?
It started smaller than it is now.
Sure.
And Gaelan, you can probably speak a bit more so than I, having been here during that time.
Yeah.
The back end.
Yeah, I mean, basically 3 years ago is when we really started scaling it up, when we got access to more buildings, because it had been only in the 1275 gallery spaces up until 3 years ago, and that's when the foundation came live and had access to the giant warehouse space at 1201 Minnesota that we toured earlier. So I ended up putting like almost twice as many exhibitors in the fair that year.
Previous years.
Because
wow.
I mapped out that you could just fit so many more tables in that big building, but it turned out it wasn't yet ready for that many bodies in the heat, and like there's no air handling in that building at that time. So
conditioned raw warehouse space.
Yes, and as I discovered when I arrived over here, I don't live on the east side of town.
It's hot.
Fucking hot. Yeah.
It's toasty.
Especially by, San Francisco standards.
Toasty.
It's like maybe 65.
Yeah.
Sweltering 65. Okay, so that was
2023, Minnesota Street Project Foundation, the nonprofit 501c3 organization, stepped in as the presenting organization, which gave access to 1201 Minnesota Street, which is the 20,000 square foot warehouse space with a screening gallery embedded therein.
I've seen
3,000 square feet there. Former popcorn factory, which makes it all the more fun.
Yeah. And so we learned a lot. We learned a lot that year. Emma, who now works here, actually was a volunteer for us that year, and she was one of the people just like pulling a wagon full of ice, offering people standing in line outside of the event like cups of ice.
Wow.
To try and help keep people cool. Because
and there were long lines.
There were long lines to get in too. And it's the second weekend in July always. That's just historically it's the time that the book fair happens now. Mm-hmm. It's been established, and it's a hot one. It tends to be a hot one in San Francisco and in the Dogpatch, certainly.
Yeah.
The good news, though, we have a new roof in that building, and we have a fan to ventilate, and we roll up the doors.
But also, I'm not putting 75 to 80 exhibitors in that space.
All in one space, yeah.
Again, no.
Right.
But last year, a super huge gallery in Building B became available, and we gained access to it, and I did put another 50 exhibitors in that building, and we, miracle of miracles, have it again this year.
Gaelan is our in-house table organizing wizard.
Okay. Do you also play Tetris?
Yes.
Yeah. How'd I know?
Adeptly.
I like puzzles. So we've got 50 exhibitors in 1150 Building B again this year, which is very exciting, and that goes along with we have 150 exhibitors this year. 151 technically, if you want to be technical about it. But
I just don't know why y'all are ambitious.
Some of them share tables though, so it's not
Sure.
it's not 151 individual tables.
I have a question. So it had about four, I'm gonna guess or try to do math, 4-ish years. Pandemic. I'm guessing it didn't happen in 2020.
No,
2021?
No.
Okay.
2 years of like online, like there were production grants given, basic publishing grants that were like, and instead of just one publisher, they were able to do like 4 or 5.
Okay. I'm just wondering how big the fair had gotten before 2023. Like, how much of a surprise was it in 2023 that it was
jumped
like
to about 20,000, and then 27,000 is what we clocked last year.
Oh my goodness.
In 2024, and
Okay.
here we are. So we're anticipating not fewer, but at least the same number of people, and so we're programming as many buildings as we have access to program in this 2-city block area, thanks to partnerships.
And how big is the team? Like, I'm talking with 2 of you, but how big is the
There's
team?
2 more.
2 more on
Programming for
our side.
151 vendors and
Yeah.
20 how many thousand?
I mean, so we have the curatorial team, which is made up of the founding members of the book fair. So Park Life and Colpa, and so they do, and I help corral them, and we do all the acceptances and that lift.
exhibitor curation.
Yeah, the exhibitor curation happens there. And then exhibitors, when they apply, they include what kind of programming that they think that they could provide for us. And then we pass that on to David Senior, who is the librarian at SF MoMA.
Yep.
And he's been curating the programming talks at the lounge at 1275 for the duration of the fair. And he also does the programming for Printed Matters fairs too. So he just did the LA Art Book Fair, and like the weekend of the LA Art Book Fair, we were like, and we would love it if you could start on this one.
Remember
please.
us? Yeah.
When you have a moment. And he's been a dear and always makes great stuff happen in there. And so we have back to back on the hour programming Friday through Sunday in the lounge.
I was going to say all 3 days.
All 3 days.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, we opened up the programming applications to include workshops and screenings and all kinds of stuff. And the things that need to happen in a workshop or a more of a performance type space have been
programming that can't happen in the lounge, which seats 50 people and is a rather tight space for panels and talks and that kind of work. That then David Senior kicks over to 1201 Minnesota Street, and Minnesota Street Project Foundation works with those programming partners to realize workshops where people can drop in, make things, learn bookmaking processes.
Big fan of making
We're working
things.
this year with the American Bookbinders Museum. They're doing a family-friendly activity. Arion Press is coming in, bringing some portable presses. We're also partnering around some street activations with Fort Mason Center for Arts and Culture in conjunction with Our Commons Are Free, which is an exhibition up there with Ben Kinmont. Ben Kinmont is coming with portable press and activating the street.
It's almost
and
like
around
what
the San
are y'all
Francisco
not
Diggers.
doing?
Oh, and there's more.
And there's
Right.
there's musical debuts. There's and
Exhibition debuts, West
Exhibition-
Coast international debuts.
Yeah, and
3
there's
days of screening programming.
Yeah,
SF Cinematech.
Yeah, SF Cinematech has provided 3 days of screening programming that's going to happen in that huge screening gallery that you checked out at 1201. Normally we would have screenings just running, like basically in years past, we've had access to this small media room in the 1275 gallery space that we would, you basically just plug in a USB and have like a looping thing happening all weekend because it's too much to try and do more. And Cinematech usually has helped curate that as well, but this year we've gone ambitious and are having, it's a 70-foot screen.
That's what we just saw in there.
Yeah. And so they have to like map 4 individual projectors for the work, and it's a whole thing. And so that's going to be happening
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4-channel projection.
I think the most important question that people will want to know is spreadsheets. Like, how do y'all do this? And keep track of it, right? Like, the logistics of the operation sounding, not a lot of people are doing this. So
we have extraordinary partners. We have checklists, we have spreadsheets, we have whiteboards, we have banter, we have text message exchanges, we have phone calls, we have
but
late night, early morning phone calls.
A lot happening in the shared drive, and a lot of tagging each other in working docs and just making sure things are checked off. And previously it was me. My first year as admin, I was making all the contracts for everybody and doing all the invoicing and all, everything else like that. And then as the foundation has been stepping in more and more, we are now benefiting from the larger bureaucracy that we have access to. So like, I'm still making all the contracts, but they have an in-house accounting team who's handling the invoices and stuff. So it's more communication, which is still work, but it's less direct, management that I have to do of like some of the minutia.
And it frees you up to do other stuff.
It frees me a little bit, so that's good.
I'd love to talk about, because I was super, super impressed by the list of just plain old publishers that will be here. How do you, I'm guessing some of them have been at the fair.
Yeah, many.
What's the approach? Because also it was like, okay, I know some of them are local, either in San Francisco or the Bay Area. Some of them, they still say CA, but then it was like a lot of states, a lot of countries.
That's
I'm like,
the idea.
It's fucking impressive.
Yeah. We're trying to both, highlight and uplift local publishing activity while also bringing in folks that were just really, whose work we're really excited to see from all over the world, basically. And the more that people can connect in person, the more cool ideas happen and connections and stuff.
We're looking to create a platform for cultural exchange because folks are coming in with different printing practices, and there's so much that can happen in those intersections. And it does. And they all know each other too, or meet each other here.
Or they meet each other here and
collaborate thereafter.
Yeah. I've always loved the event because it's just like some of my favorite people in the world come here, and then I just get to talk to all of them. And so I end up being a really bad attendee in that I don't end up spending very much money because I'm just so excited to talk to everybody, look at all the stuff and then and then compliment, just hear more about it and find out how they did it, and then I'm on to the, and then just so many conversations happen, and that's really exciting.
And we announced this year in collaboration with CDMX Hardcore. They just started a fair.
Yeah,
excellent.
One of Can Press started the CDMX Art Book Fair, and it's happening this coming weekend, July 4th.
So we're all going to Mexico City? Is that what you're saying after this?
So the idea.
We have time for that.
We have time. So the idea was that they launched their fair in tandem with ours, so that people, international vendors, could potentially attend both, right?
I call that a sister city situation.
Yes,
I'll just think of us as sister cities.
Absolutely. So there's CDMX happening the July 4th weekend, and then SFABF this weekend. And if you look at there's international book fairs of different scales happening almost all the time. There's one happening this weekend, and I can't remember where it is, but the Singapore one is coming up in October. It's going to be huge this year. It's 13th, I think. They've been doing it for a long time. Amazing. Really cool stuff.
Well, what I love about what Minnesota Street Project, what SF Art Book Fair, what I like to think that I do is we're all just out here doing the things. We're celebrating art and artists and community, publishers, and all this stuff. It also doesn't hurt that it goes against that whole bullshit doom loop narrative of
right.
So I just wonder, is it even in y'all's mind of we gotta counter that, or is it just we're doing what we do because it's what we do? Does that make sense?
This is what we do.
This is just what we bringing people in
and
outside
showing them that San Francisco has a vibrant scene, and
it never died.
It has never died.
vibrant.
It continues to be great
Yeah.
and change, and that can feel hard, but yeah, no, I feel like the Bay Area and San Francisco continue to offer just incredible.
It's amazing how many people miss
opportunities.
the deadline who we're partnering with anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
in tangential ways and offsites and
Yeah.
programming happening after hours, and that's the spirit of this thing. There are a lot of great partners in this mix who just want to be a part of it, and that feels especially good right now and always.
Totally. Can I share something I heard recently?
Sure.
I don't know who gets credit for coining this, but doom loop backwards is pool mood. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love
Exactly. So we've kind of talked about how you all go about putting it together, which I think is important, and folks need to hear that. Now I'd like to shift to what fairgoers can expect and how they can access different, you mentioned all the programs and everything that y'all are doing over this 3-day weekend. So what do you want to tell folks?
It opens Thursday night.
On Thursday, right,
the
so 4
10th.
days, right, sorry.
So it's technically 4, and that's the thing too, is like, yeah, it's the opening night preview, Thursday night, 6 to 10 on July 10th, and that is also free and open to the public. And so, that's, I start getting a trickle of emails about this time. They've already started, of people being like, and how do I get a ticket to the opening night? I'm like, you come to the door and you walk in.
Free's good.
Which is an incredible thing to be able to offer for a fair at this scale.
Yes,
For sure.
Yes, and we're so grateful that we're able to keep it free and open to the public. But yeah, basically, the exhibitors are spread across 2 buildings that are a block apart, and then the 1201 screening gallery is at the farthest end of the blocks of these 2 blocks. And so exhibitors can expect some walking where, if you're going to wear your Margiela tabbies, make sure they're the flat ones or whatever. Sensible walking shoes. But there's going to be food trucks up here at the 1150 lot.
Coffee
and
popsicles.
yeah, and all kinds of good stuff. But opening night, there's going to be bars across all sites.
Can I ask you who the bar vendor is? Or is it one or more?
Harlan Records. Will is coming out.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, and we'll have the spread of food trucks on the website soon.
Okay.
So people can plan, but there's always going to be vegan and gluten-free options for every day. So we want to make sure that those things are covered.
Exhibitors are in 1150 25th Street building in the gallery space, and then at 1275, and then we're doing an open studios event at the Artist Studios at 1240 on Saturday only, so people can get into what is otherwise a private space and get into those studios. We'll be offering print demonstrations, intaglio printing demonstrations, so visitors can drop in, pass through, learn about the process. We just invested in upgrades to the digital print lab, analog print room, and risograph printing facilities in there. And there's some amazing artists in there who are participating also in the fair in other ways, and participating with exhibitors.
Yeah, and the press that you're going to be showing off is brand new to the.
It is brand new
to the
It's
foundation
a
and the
tackish
studios.
floor press, which is a big deal. And
Yeah.
we're super excited about that. Clea McKenna and Trina Michelle Robinson are involved in those demos. And then at 1201 Minnesota Street, we're debuting the West Coast debut for the 2024 Paris Photo Aperture Photo Book Award exhibition.
Okay.
We're so excited to be partnering with them for the presentation of that. It hasn't been seen outside of Paris or New York. So it's really exciting. And we're partnering also on programming with KUSF Rock and Swap on Sunday.
Yes.
So there'll be an additional 45 to 50 exhibitors there selling records.
And that'll be in 1201 as well.
So
In
not just
1201.
live music, but records.
Yes.
as well.
It'll be a
and
record swap.
Got a
Yeah.
great
Excellent.
personal note from one of the exhibitors saying that they're bringing the top shelf merch from Long Beach. So y'all,
All right.
just
Anybody who
prepared.
wants to dig in some bins,
Hell yeah.
come at 11 when the doors open.
My muscle memory or whatever, like I'm surprised, like every time I do that, it works. Still works. Like I can flip with the best.
Your
of them.
fingers are flipping.
Incredible.
There's a listening room that we'll be activating on that Sunday as well. We're kicking it off through a partnership with Creative Growth. William Scott is going to be debuting a new record release in partnership with Studio Route 29 on the East Coast. BJ Amore, another artist, East Coast, West Coast, collaboration, release.
Yeah, first earlier this year, it was like San Francisco and LA are getting along. Now it's like the coasts. I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, we're hosting, the foundation, Minnesota Street Project Foundation is hosting Land and Seas.
That's right.
Activation
Sound and Vision.
Yeah, of 1201.
Saturday night. 7 p.m. after the fair.
So 7 to 10, and it's going to be a bunch of debuts of some new
pieces. Robert Aiki, Aubrey Lowe.
Yeah, they're going to have like new tapes and 7 inches and stuff.
Excellent.
That they're performing.
Can we talk about the live music aspect?
Oh, well, that's one of them.
That is okay.
Yeah,
okay.
On Saturday.
And then on
Sunday.
And then on Sunday. So Saturday night is the Land and Sea Adventures pieces performance after the fair closes, but then during fair hours on Sunday is when the Creative Growth
William Scott will kick it off,
happen.
And then there'll be a listening room thereafter.
Yeah.
So listening room activities all day on Sunday in that space. And then partnering also with William Stout Architectural Books on another debut that I can't talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm excited about.
That's gonna be very, very cool. But yeah, you can say that we're partnering with William Stout, and we're very pleased to be. But they're not ready to share the details of what this exciting development is yet.
Mystique
so
is good.
You can
yes,
sprinkle that in.
And so I'm guessing from the sound of all of this that it is family friendly.
Oh yeah.
Pets.
Yeah, people bring their pets. Oh, Falcor is famous. Falcor is a dog who's been coming to the book fair for years.
Okay.
And,
a veteran.
A veteran of the fair. Yes. In dog years, how many
incredible sort of albino looking dog, and he's generally pushed in his little goth stroller by his really.
He has a presence.
I really want to know Falcor.
Yeah,
like either at the fair or
if you check out
when
we launch the programming and signings and stuff, he's having a book signing.
Good.
And they're book signings throughout the fair. Exhibitors are actively publishing new material and
authors and artists will be here. Okay, not just publishers.
Not just publishers. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, those are still trickling in because it does take time for all these folks to make sure that their people can make it to the fair and figure out what time they're available to sign and stuff.
There are a handful of galleries at 1275 who also give over space for exhibitors for the fair and then have programming of their own. So Eleanor Harwood, Hashimoto Contemporary, Casemore Gallery, they all open up a portion of their space for book fair vending and then also have programming, and all the galleries are identifying ways to participate.
Yeah, all the upstairs spaces at 1275 are open, and same thing, 1150 Homes Building B has 3 gallery spaces, and so we're in the largest of them with our exhibitors, but there's 2 other, Altman Siegel and Slash Arts are both going to be open during the fair as well.
Okay, wow, you guys, I'm impressed by how much you can keep with not really looking at notes, let's say. It's impressive. Just take it.
Spreadsheets in our heads.
In your brains, yeah. It's very black
We
mirror.
also have the fundraiser editions, which we.
Oh yeah, and the fundraiser editions for this year are incredible. Very
Truly.
pleased to say that we've been able to partner with some really amazing artists. And this year, Poppy Press, who are based in San Diego, offered up a screen print for one of our editions, and we're working with Sarah Hodgkiss, who's San Francisco's very own Sarah Hodgkiss, who we love very
represented
much.
by Romer Young, which is right around the corner from here in Dogpatch as well. So
yeah, but she has a gorgeous 2-color print, and Sean McFarland, who is an artist based in the 1240 Minnesota Street Project Foundation Studios. He's an incredible photographer and mixed media artist, and he's doing a really special essentially handmade edition for us with production support from Light Source. Hard to describe for a podcast, the work, but do you want to give it a stab or just say come to our website and check it out? And we have both editions are available for pre-sale now, which is an exciting thing we haven't been able to really offer.
We've never done that before.
Not in this capacity, so.
You just mentioned it. I think it'd be good to let folks know how they can access additional information. We've covered a lot, but
everything is at sfartbookfair.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And additional information at minnesotastreetprojectfoundation.org.
Okay.
Yeah. SF Art Book Fair on Instagram, and same MSP Foundation on Instagram.
Okay. Before we wrap, I have one last thing. Every season on my podcast, I have a theme, and this season, which is coming to an end, the theme is Keep It Local, and I like my guests to respond to what that means to them. There's the fact that the entire 30 minutes we've been speaking to that, right? We're like, but what does that mean to you?
Keeping it local, I mean, it's what I'm trying to do in everything right now. Like, when everything feels so big and impossible, the best thing you can do is just be paying attention to your communities and making sure that things are happening that are lifting people up.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
We're engaging as many partners in the immediate vicinity and expanding that to the broader Bay Area and expanding that to an international community so that we can have richer conversations around what it means to throw support infrastructure at all of us right now.
Excellent. I'm good. Is there any glaring thing that we've left out? I know it's like, how do you cram? I mean, you guys are doing so much, but since we're recording, is there anything? And I edit so I can insert it back, Oh no, don't look at the whiteboard, y'all.
We're going to have, the merch.
The merch.
This
is a big year because it's the first year that Dave Kasperzak has stepped back from designing the brand identity for the book fair. And we've brought in Quality Time, Maria and Sav, to design the brand identity for the book fair this year. So that's a big deal.
So it looks different than previous years.
It does,
okay.
Yeah. David Kasperzak is one of the founding members of Culpa Press and therefore the book fair. And yeah, he's been, there was like maybe one previous year that he didn't manage the identity. But yeah, we've expanded it to bring, and he moved to LA, and so that, complicates things too. So we're working with a really great new local group, and they've been exhibiting at the book fair.
Everyone's in community.
Everyone's
in community.
So we have all the identity that you'll see on the website and the Instagram and the merch is all via Quality Time, and that's qualitytime.fun if you want to check out their website. They're like a collective of 6, and we're working with 2 of them basically. And
I saw the site. It's fucking beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
I'm just one person, but it's beautiful.
But yeah, so the t-shirts and the totes and the pins are going to be available at the fair, and all sales of the edition, the art, the fundraising editions, and the merch goes to keep the fair free and
the fair being free,
open to the public. Yeah.
That was Lisa Ellsworth and Gaelan McKeown from the San Francisco Art Book Fair, which kicks off tomorrow, July 10th. I'd like to thank Tracy Ramos, who did sound design on this one. On the next episode of Storied San Francisco, catch part 2 with Dregs 1. That drops next Tuesday wherever you get podcasts. Music for Storied San Francisco was produced, performed, and curated by Otis McDonald. Our contributing producer is Aaron Lim of Bitch Talk Podcast. And the show is produced and hosted by me, Jeff Hunt. Now in our 7th season, we have more than 270 episodes available on our website, storiedsf.com, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If possible, please rate and review the show. I want to know what you think. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at storiedsf, and reach out to us there, or email us at storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Be super careful crossing the street, and keep being wacky, creative, and kind out there. See you next time on Storied San Francisco. We acknowledge and respect the first humans of the unceded land we call San Francisco, the Ramaytush Ohlone. We condemn the genocide of these and other tribes across the Western Hemisphere. We honor their legacy and history, and we support rematriation and sovereignty efforts.
This podcast is a proud member of the BFF.FM podcast network. Learn more at podcasts.bff.fm.
BFF.FM, best frequencies forever.